Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft. We're here in the city of Maybe, and I noticed something. When you're flying in FoolCraft, you bob up and down ever so slightly. It's a really cool little animation. And yes, we are in the city of Maybe, and goodness me, we're going to do some cool stuff today. I want to be fixing up some things over here, making some progression, progressing the shop along, but also going back to our base and tidying up some things over there, making that place come along as well, because we've got loads of projects all over the place at the moment. And this shop, by the way, looking amazing, but I've been doing some details out the front here, so you'll see that there is now a window. And what I've done is I've chipped away at this dried bricks and put in some charcoal. It's the same texture as the floor, and then I put some white stained glass with it, which is pretty cool. Now, to match that, we've got a custom molasses door right here. So it's got charcoal on the outside, it's got the white glass in the middle, and it looked really, really odd. That does just not look right at all, does it? But over here, if we lower down the ceiling a little bit, actually looks a little bit more reasonable. And the plan here is to take that window design and then copy it to this space and sort of bring it around it, so it feels like one big glass entrance, but actually the door is just a little bit like that for me walking through here. So that's one of the things we're going to take care of. On the inside though, aha! The album covers have been fixed. You can now see them in full-sized glory. There they are. We're going to do more album covers later on in this episode. By the way, thank you once again to everyone. We got an error! Wow, I do not know what happened with that, but I'll need to go fix that one. That's the first time I've seen that. That almost looks like it could be an album cover in itself. If it didn't say error, it said something else, Or maybe Error's the name of the band. Maybe there's a band name for you right there. No, Error would probably be a terrible name. Yeah, we'll do more of this later on in the episode. We'll add some more to the shop. We're going to set up a section over on this side. We'll be doing some details in this area as well. Just want to say you can continue to send in your album covers. There is no real end date until I say, right, the shop is done, and if you look at the size of it, there's going to be quite a few more records to go on display. One of those places we'll be displaying them is above this little unit in the middle, like you can see here. One thing I will advise though, please don't send me them again if you've already sent me them. I've had quite a lot of resends in, and it's been quite confusing when I'm saving the file. I'm accidentally overwriting it or whatever because I've already got it, and to avoid confusion, please don't do that. But yes, you can continue to send them in, and of course I've had hundreds of submissions already. Not all of them are going to make their way into here. I'm sorry, that's the nature of this, but I will be picking out the best, and we will be displaying as many of them as I can. So anyway, moving on from that, around the corner here I extended B00's wall that he had made, and I made a corner unit for it like this. We're actually going to copy this right now, and we're going to put that into, how do I do it again, placement mode like this, because I had a little bit of an idea when I was streaming. I looked at this and I thought, it's a bit janky, the road just ends halfway in front of our shop. We need to think about what comes next, and I think what comes next is this goes underground, right? It just disappears into the distance, but I think the best way to get rid of it is to go underground. So what we're going to do is actually just remove this one here, and I was thinking what we might be able to do is make this turn the corner. Does that make sense? Yeah, we can do that. No, can we? Do I have to hold down shift and place it like that? Is that even in the correct spot now? It sort of goes over by a bit. That's a little bit tricky. Okay, so this thing, now that I look at it, is unsymmetrical, right? Like there's less space there than there is on this side. But I was thinking what we could do is bring this out a little bit to around here, then make it turn again, go across there, back over here, and that would start to open up the shape for a tunnel to emerge. So I'm just trying to make a start here. I'm not actually trying to go ahead and build the whole thing. And I've just noticed that I've missed something, so let's do that quickly while I'm recording. I'm going to get some advice from the other fools who have already built these other roads and these bits here. But I feel like this is a good shape to push out by. It may be a little bit on the big side, but then again, that depends on how steep the next bit is going to be. So that looks really weird. Oh, it's the angle. There we go. We're missing these two bits right here. So there you go. That goes around the outside, and down here is where our road is going to slope. And I was just playing around with that, and I thought this bit's kind of interesting because I made this, and unlike Scar, who's used like a whole, well, most of a whole block and then trimmed it down a little bit, I always try to skimp out and use as little as possible. Like you can see, all of this is sort of hollow on the inside because it just saves on the amount of materials that you need to put into this. So I've got a copy of this, and if we hold down shift and put it in the right spot, we can knock it down a little bit like that, and that means we can just use the same template over and over again. and then it comes down just there. And I was wondering, is this a good enough slope? And how do we want to do this slope as well? Does it need to be steep? Do we want a bit of a curve so it starts off steady and then gets steeper? Like, I feel like that's definitely not enough to clear us of this end bit here. But maybe it could start like that and get a little bit steeper. I'm really not sure. So this was interesting. I started off with 2 9s, 2 8s, 7 6s, 5s, and I think we ended up on 4s, and then it just goes straight down like that. It's a little bit steep, but I think you can get away with that. But it leaves us with like a 2-block gap, which is ridiculous. That probably needs to be doubled. So I think realistically we're going to have to look at starting this thing somewhere back here, I reckon. And then it'll probably look reasonable. There's also the case of what to do with this right here. So in between thinking about that, I came over here. I sorted out the windows. They were actually looking really cool. And I've just started work on the entrance here. Originally I was going to inset the window like I've done here, where the charcoal goes into the bricks, but I felt like if we did that it would look odd on this side, which it actually still kind of looks odd. We're going to have to change that out with another material. But anyway, let's put in our glass. I think this is actually going to be a little bit of a pain unless I think of a smart way to do it. Draw region is probably the way to do this. So we go up to that bit there. Excellent. We can do that on the other side and then on the top from one side to the other. And I'm just wondering, does this need like some of these to go across through the window? I'm going to guess that it doesn't, because the way we've done the other windows is that they're very big and open, and if they had some patterns on them or a bit more closed in, that would probably be needed over here as well. And that kind of looks alright. I don't know really. It's very plain, isn't it? And there's definitely some space up here that needs to be filled in. So I'm thinking what we can do is put like a little wooden sign that could say entrance, and over on this side it would just say exit, which is actually the plan. I want that to be the exit, and I want to have the checkout tills over on that side. One other thing I wanted to do though is sort out this floor. So let's go to connected pane and just fill in the space. Now that looks a little bit odd. Also that went through to the other side. Very odd. I need to mess around with this a little bit. So I think I've got it figured out in the end. I mean, these are tiny details, but when you pay attention to them, they just don't quite look right sometimes, and I've done that on both doors. I don't think I mentioned earlier that the way in which that I fixed this problem right here, right? You do one screen at a time, which initially I didn't think you could do because I was placing them down next to one another when they connect. So you do that one, then you do this one, and then you can do the one in between. And so that way you can get them side by side, which is fantastic. That's how the problem was fixed. I might have actually mentioned that earlier, I'm not sure. But we got something else to do, because someone, Alistair, sent me a poster for a new Iskow album, and I thought this is pretty cool. I didn't ask for posters, and I didn't have them in plan, or in mind at least, and I didn't think there were actually too many places to hang a poster up around here. Maybe on the side of this wall would be a good spot, right? Just because it's a bit of wall space. Now this one is sort of in the alley a bit, and we're going to build a truck down here at some point as well. But I think at least at the front of the alley there is a good spot here to hang up a poster. And I can't help but feel that this thing being 2 blocks tall would probably look better right in the middle. But we're going to put it on the lower side. So we're going to pinch that, and we're going to pinch this. And that's kind of awkward because there's actually nothing on the other side. But we will place a couple of blocks temporarily, and then we'll put those there. I've got this on my clipboard. Don't I? No, apparently I no longer have it on my clipboard. There it is. Excellent. Bam! We got a. I tell you what, it should probably be a little bit bigger if it's going to be a poster, right? The problem with this is we actually want to see that texture from the outside on the inside here. So what we should do is fill that in and just pick a different spot, basically, which will be directly alongside it. I've also got more screens. So this time, instead of it being 2 tall, it's actually going to be 4 tall. And that is the back of another screen. So that's the last place that I'm actually going to place this thing. Alright, so let's put in the image. There we go. Make it 2 wide. Oh, interesting how it's split up there. And I'm out of screens. Just brilliant. And now it's daytime, and now we have plenty of those screens. Let's finish this thing off. Bam! Yeah, that's pretty cool. That looks like a poster, doesn't it? That's going to grab your attention if you're walking by. Oh, the new Iskalomatic album is out. The first studio album by the legendary artist Iskow. It's kind of hard to read when you get closer to it. And I'll tell you what, that track listing From far away, from up close, I just cannot read it. So now we have enter and exit signs. I like the little font that I came up with here. This is a 6 wide pixel font and the main bulk of the letter is 2 pixels wide. Over here though, it looks a little bit odd. Always when you use the letter I, because it's a lot slimmer than the others, they're technically even spaced each letter, but it has a bigger gap between the two and it always looks a little bit odd. But I don't mind that. Enter and exit are in place. We're going to come back to the shop later on and work on the interiors again. But focusing on the outside here, this is going pretty well, but I kind of want to give myself time to think about it. However, I just had a really cool idea. I've just been extending this out over here at the moment. This is the gutter. Am I really out of that material? Okay then. That's kind of funny because I didn't stop because I ran out of material, but apparently the last one I placed was it. So I'm not sure if the gutter should stay alongside it or it should go out like I'm doing at the moment. Should it slope down with it? Yeah, leave a comment, let me know, because I'm not too sure about how to do this, but the slope here turned out really well. That is plenty of space right there, I think, to get the illusion across. And I started from the bottom going up, and then after a certain point I switched out from going 3 pixels at a time, then I did 2 4s, 2 5s, and la la la. It went all the way to 2 10s, and it lined up perfectly with this block, which I thought was really cool. So anyway, when it comes to that bit down there, I was starting to think that's kind of out of my range what to do next. But I came over here and had a look at B-Dubs and what he's done, thinking I could take a page out of his book. This is probably really beyond me, what's going on here, but I could technically perhaps copy what he's done and put it down in that space because it's the same width of road. So actually no, it's not. As soon as I back away I see that it's actually slimmer. Oh dear, maybe we can't do that. Who knows, who knows. I could give it a try. I can't help but feel I'd suffer with something like that though. And you can see I've added this rail going along the side here because of course we don't want people just walking off and falling straight down there, do we? But anyway, we'll come back to this shop later on where I'm going to be showing you some more of the records we're going to put inside of it. For now though, we're going to go work on our base a little bit. So welcome back to the Wastelands Fortress. These items look so very, very cool. Do you know what this is? This is something I've talked about a fair bit in the past. It is pyrethium dust from Thermal Foundation. I was flicking through all of the Thermal Foundation stuff over here. It looks really interesting. There is just a lot of stuff going on here. This thing has caught my eye. Cryo stabilized flux duct can do infinite RF per tick, which sounds awesome. And there's loads of cool stuff going on here. But we have talked about this in the past, and now we're going to activate it. And yes, I'm going to walk around with these in either hand because I feel like it. But I've set up an automatic crafting system for this stuff, and I think this number is a little bit too high based on how we're going to use it. So we're going to set this to a stack, and then below we're going to automate that. No, wait. Which way around? That way around, right? It should automatically be making them, and in my inventory somewhere I do have this thing, so I can go look it up, type it in here, make sure it's making a stack. There we go. Yeah, the other thing that I need to do is then export it into one of these. So we have an exporter there, that's bad, an importer. Right, they're actually all being used with exporters. I didn't think of that, so I need another dimensional transceiver first. Okay, we're ready to export some of this stuff into here. It needs a channel though, and I have already set one up. Ores, Pyro, yes, I thought this out all the way through. And the reason that we're able to do this now is because we've got this set up, which is making our, is it sand and gravel, and then we use some of the things we get from that to make some of the things we need for this. Sulfur is an output of this system, and the other thing is coal powder. And if we look at the recipe for this thing, there you go, you'll see we need those two, and then these we're farming from our mob farms. So finally we can make this automatically and not worry about it running out, which means we can add it to our ore system. The reason we want to do that is because we can take advantage of this. Shift for details. Let's try it on that side of the screen because of this old bug, which is a vanilla bug, and it's actually fixed in 1.11 or 12. Anyway, increases yield from ores, so we want more bang for our buck, and especially with this neutron compressor thing we're trying to do, we need a lot more materials from our ores to make those singularities. So I had a look around here and I realized it's actually going to be quite complicated because you can see here that we have two sets of conduits on the two sides we can interact with these blocks from, and this is where we need to make our hardened fluid ducts, which will transfer fluids at any temperature. We need them to connect with this, but I made this system when I didn't really understand channels as much, I believe. There we go, up to the top. So what we should easily be able to do is make it so this is an insert and an outsert. An insert and an extract at the same time, and then we can free up this bit right here. That should be relatively easy, I believe, and if we do that on both sides, then we free up this space. So I've set this thing with a receive channel. You can see it's got a stack of pyrotheum dust there, so I figured if we put this directly next to that, it might automatically, or with a little bit of setup, pull from the side. So that would be the side for inserting. So maybe this thing needs to push on that side, right? And then it goes into here. Yes. Oh, excellent. Okay, and what about power though? Because this thing is right, it's not actually receiving power. Okay, so which power system? All smelting obviously is the one that we would use, so it's receiving that. And yeah, there we go. Right, so we're making liquid pyrotheum now. Thing is though, where was this getting power from if that didn't have a power channel attached to it, right? Like, where was it getting power from all this time? Ah, it was getting it from this thing over here. So I must have decided to, instead of using the dimensional transceiver, to start using this. So what I might actually do is put one of these conduits running into that block. But anyway, it means we can put this thing going down here. It will go straight across, and yes, this room is starting to look very janky, but that's fine. And it should possibly be able to go up into that space and across there, and then getting it up to here shouldn't be a problem either. It's been a while since I last evaluated what was required for this project, and I missed something out rather important. But first of all, let's check out this pulverizer. It's been set up with the in and the out at the bottom, and you can actually configure these to do both of them in one thing, right? Problem is, it doesn't actually work because it doesn't get to finish smelting it, and it just takes the ore straight back out and puts it into the chest again, which is no good at all. So we're going to have to go back to using the regular way that we did before, and that means that we're going to have to put our fluid ducts at the top here. And that's when I noticed that they don't actually connect. You can see right here they're not connecting to the pulverizers, and this reminded me that this is in fact only for the induction smelter, which we can use here because we've got some redstone furnaces, and the induction smelter is basically an upgrade of that. So we are going to use these. I've only made 4, I was actually supposed to make 5. We're going to put them in there, we're going to upgrade them, and then our conduits are going to go like this, or fluid ducts as we should call them. And then I figured the best place to do with that is probably just to bring it over the top here, send it through this wall, and then it can go down to the magma crucible below. One of the things I was anticipating you might say about this is that we could use an item filter. Thing is, this only has 5 options, and there's more than 5 that goes into this, so I don't think that would work. However, what we might be able to do is get it to work with a chest that is distributing items into here. There's sort of like a problem item that's slowly been building up, and I don't know what its use is. However, it is actually used in thermal foundation, and it is actually supposed to be used in an induction smelter. Well, I was about to set up a item filter with a like a blacklist on it, so it wouldn't move those around. Thing is, does this work without? Let's find if it works without this first of all. So we put in note tin, maybe not that one then. This stuff can go in there. It's got power. Does it? Ah, you see, I just don't understand anything, do I? So that means we need to produce cinnabar as well. And then we've got this problem of it going into both slots. Well, here's the thing. Look at how many options for colours there are here. We've got blue, we've got reds, orange, yellow I think was in there. Then we got green, which is, it's just that one. And then purple is the other one. Right. That makes things even more confusing at this point. Why did I choose to upgrade this? Oh, it's such a bad idea. This system is never going to cease to get more complicated. So I figured out a solution to our problems. We're going to add like another row of machines, the induction smelters at the back there. That should hopefully give us more space to configure them and get them working like these redstone furnaces are. But we're going to use a priority system so that when we've got cinnabar, it's going to prioritize sending it to the induction smelters, which will sit up the back and do that. So it won't quite work how these items moving across the tracks kind of display it does, but that's fine. But then I was looking for some upgrades because we had one spare over here. And I was thinking, well, why don't we increase the output a little bit more? And it turns out that you can also use fluid peroethium on... No, that's something different, isn't it? Fluid petroethium. Oh. And we're definitely not ready to do that one yet. Yikes. I should actually take that out of there then. But that's something for the future then. Another fluid that can help improve the system. Damn it. These machines are so complicated. I just figured this one out myself. Oh, so I've had to put 3 in there because you need access to more sides than we have available. Like, you would need access to the front side as well, right? So I put some conduit facades between either side, and that means that actually we can have a connection there as well. So now we're only going to have 3 of these, which is fine, and you can see how it's kind of configured at the moment because we need 4 connections. And yeah, oh, I don't know. So purple is this bit, green is that bit, and the blue is just so that the blazing peroethium can come in here. Now, the green also accepts cinnabar, which is exactly what I was worrying about. Oh, so even if we use up all of the cinnabar, I think it could still be a problem. There's cinnabar in here, and it's going into all of those slots, except we only want it to go into the purple one. I came up with a solution to this a moment ago, I've just realised, which is to add... Aha! Right, if we put an item filter in there and set it into blacklist mode, it will never extract it on this side. Now that's not a problem because it can't go into these machines, but it can go into that one. So if we blacklist it on that channel, it'll be fine. And this one is the purple channel, which means it will go into the correct slot. Right, good. Recording and talking about it has provided me with a solution. So, a moment ago, I rage quit. I rage quit big time because this doesn't work. Pulverized stuff doesn't go into these machines. It's just another thing that I overlooked. And the problem here is complexity. Also, why does that not have cinnabar? That doesn't make any sense. You don't have a purple connection on that side now, we know. Let's go put purple there. Apparently setting that to blue allowed it to come in as well. So, oh, I guess blue is the same slot, isn't it? Yeah. Complexity is the problem, right? It's not just a furnace, you put coal in it, it smelts stuff. These things require power, they have upgrades, you configure inputs and outputs. There are crazy names like peroethium, and then there's multiple things, and these and them, and oh, it's absolutely insane. And this was supposed to take 5 minutes, and it's taken me a couple of hours to get this far. So here's how I fixed the problem, okay? And we are not actually seeing that fix in action yet, because what I need to do is take these out like that, and now it should get the ores into the back there. So what I've done is I've wrapped this conduit network around to here, where it takes the cinnabar out of this... Oh, you haven't been set up correctly. That's supposed to be on extract. Yep, cinnabar, there we go. How did it get cinnabar in here a second ago when I changed that? Because that was on the wrong... That's really weird. Okay, anyway, so then it goes down into this system, right? So that is extracting from our chest that receives the ores. Yeah, so that's insert priority 0, insert priority 1. It has a higher number, thus meaning that the ores will now go to the back there. Now, when we run out of the cinnabar stuff, these will fill up with ores. The ores will sit there, and then the stuff will be forced to go into these ones again, which will produce more cinnabar for the ones at the back. That's the general idea, although it's actually only one ore that produces the cinnabar out of here, so it will be dependent on that ore arriving in. So I'm hoping we'd see something right now. Do I have any ores in my inventory? No, I don't. The thing to mention is, though, that these will produce ingots, and they will be extracted and sent back into the system, so all's good now. So we are back in the city and maybe at our record shop, and check out what I've been up to. I've just been putting in these signs. Spent a little bit of time creating these 2 blocks, then putting numbers on front of them and copying them across so it makes making the numbers nice and easy. And I tell you what, there's nothing more pleasant than just relaxing, not thinking about any technical doohickeys with connecting wires and cables and all that sort of stuff, and just coming in here and making the numbers. And 0 is actually like a really nice template to make the other numbers. That's a letter, not a number. That's E. What a 3. I know they rhyme, but it won't make any sense. Yeah, look at that. Nice and easy. And then the last one is 5, so we might as well do that together. Bam. So, top 15. That's right. And in the middle, hanging down from the ceiling, we're going to have like a little top 15 sign as well, I reckon, just to make it even more clear. Now, you might be wondering, why is there also this little thing underneath? And that's because we're going to add something here, which I don't have a green colour, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to... I just realised I was about to do something silly as well. We're going to take these two right here, okay? And for red, it's going to be going down the chart. And for black, we'll have a line that's flat. That means staying in the same spot. So this one has been here for more than 1 week. So it gets that little sign. Now that kind of means that I've got to think about this, because if this one is a down sign and that one's that, then like it couldn't be down because, you know, like that one was there last week as well. So what we'll do is we'll make this one an up sign, which requires green, and then this one can be a down sign as well, right? But I don't think I'll overthink this too much, because otherwise I can end up going over it for ages. And actually, I think I want to make that like free tool and have it like that, much more clear. Yeah, that's really clear now. Okay, so if we find a green color, we'll put it in that space, and you might notice something, which is that this has got 3 blocks on that side and then 4 on that one. I know, it's not even, and actually I could probably get away with trimming it on this side, because you've got that darker line right next to it there and the lighter one on that side, so it would probably trick your eyes. I'll see if I can change that. There it is. Topis. Topis. Wow, I've just spent some time moving these letters back and forth, and I didn't think of putting a bigger space in the middle there, so that's what we'll do. We'll actually go ahead and add an extra row of glowstone on either side, then I'll move it out by 1 pixel. That'll add a 2 pixel block gap in the middle extra on top of that, and it should then say top 15 instead of Topis. But the reason we're doing that is because I also want to go ahead and let's go connected pane. There we go. Reduce the size of this a little bit, as it's kind of bulky, right? So we're going to tap it down like that, and you're going to see this repeat, by the way. Oh, the next place that I want to break it down is from the back wall, so I guess we're going to have to go in like this and remove those. And then we should be able to do the old connected pane again. Except there's 3 of them. Let's move it in by 2, 3, 4. That should probably be good. And the last one's probably going to be a little bit tricky. But from this point, what we can do is copy what we've done already. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just want to make sure I get it right. And we can put genre names in. So the next one that we're going to do is a metal section, which is going to be at the back of the store. And so all of the albums we're going to put over here are going to be dedicated to metal. So we're going to be revealing quite a few in this next update. The thing is, though, this store is going to be full, absolutely full of these things. So if we look at the shape of that, METAL, the A is going to be slightly bigger, so it will be a little bit bigger than all of this, won't it? But we can pretty much use this as a template. That is the block behind it, right, because I clicked through what was on front. I'll tell you what, I'll do the copy and pasting of that in a moment. The thing that I can do right now, though, is copy and paste this, which is probably the better thing to do. I think what we'll do is we'll copy this corner design here, so there's a little bit of space. So the first one will be there. And I can't place this because I don't have enough materials. 6, 7, 8, 9. Aha, we're going to have 9 albums on display here. So we're copying the pattern around again. A little bit of a gap, that's always important. We'll put the metal sign in the middle there. So I got to pick out 9 albums that are related to metal. I know there's a few really good ones, and we've already got a couple of them up here in the charts as well. But I'm going to pick out my 9 favourites and display them over here. I don't know what's going on in my head right now, but in the process of spelling the word metal, I put T and E the wrong way around, and I've come up with T. It's time to check out our records. First of all, we have xisumavoid, In the Wastelands. I love this. That's based on one of my favourite records, Metallica's Ride the Lightning, and it's been xisumofied. I love that. That one was made by Kate. This next one was made by Yori. Megadeth, Ren in Peace. I love that. That's Megadeth's Rust in Peace. That's one of my favourite albums to go running to. That looks hilarious, little Ren face in the middle there. The next one is made by Cod, D and Kane. This one explains itself. Doc M. Stein. and that's based off the Rammstein record, of which name I can't say, but another great record right there. This next one is made by Jacob. If it's based on a record, I'm not sure. Asuma Unchained, you got Evil X there in the flames. I think that looks great. This next one, again, probably not actually based on a record, or at least one I'm not aware of. This was by Saar. It is Bad to the Bone, and there's Ren Dog holding a bone. That's looking really cool. This next one was made by Ash, and I love it because it's a play on the artist name. That's Dio's record, the one that I'm actually familiar with, but I can't tell you the name of it right now. And Dio, short for Diorite. There's a giant demon there with a Diorite face whipping Iskall, who's in the water. And then this next one is Iskalia, the Diamond Eye. I love the logo on that. That's really cool. This one was made by Sean. Our next one here was made by Crydisc, System of a Fall. Absolutely brilliant, based on the Toxicity record. Really cool stuff. And then last of all, we've got Steven's one here. Another one of Doc M, which I believe is based on an Avenged Sevenfold records. Now, there's one or two of these I would possibly replace, because we've got like 2 Metallicas and 2 Doc M's up there. I'd like a little bit more diversity, but I don't know, we'll probably leave those alone. Just think, the next sections we're doing rock, metal, pop. Oh no, wait, we've already done metal. just want to do more metal, don't I? Dance music, stuff like that. Just think of albums from different genres that you could, foolify. Let's use that as a term. And yeah, so that's that wall right there, all looking really, really good. I love these, they are absolutely awesome. And you'll notice that some of the vinyls have changed over here. That was out of necessity because I started running out of the materials to place these down. So I'd replace some of those and it would give me the materials to place the next one, right? And it looks really good when they change the colours up a little bit. So I reckon with the proper textures and them properly rearranged, this is going to look amazing. But that's going to be it from me this episode. Again, you can continue to send me your submissions. Please don't send them twice. That just makes it confusing and slow for me and all of that. And yeah, like I said, we're going to do electronic music, some pop, some rock, that kind of stuff in the other sections. And yeah, that's it from me. If you enjoyed the episode, leave a like. As always, thank you for the support. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now. Bye bye.